Look at the roof of your car. Almost every modern model today has a small detail up there, something that looks like the fin of a shark rising out of the water. And if you scroll through accessory ads, they will tell you, install this and you'll save 6% on fuel. Sounds like a miracle, doesn't it? But my advice is this: don't believe it too quickly, because if a few dollar piece of plastic could save that much fuel, car companies would not need to spend billions of dollars researching engines. However, if you ask, why did the world's top engineers replace those long traditional antennas with this small, low, wind-slicing detail? Then the story becomes far more interesting. This is not decoration. This is how the modern car solves three problems at once: aerodynamics, durability, and connectivity. Welcome to Everyday Things Explained. Before the fin, cars once had a fishing rod. To understand why the shark fin became standard, we have to go back in time. Before the year 2000, car antennas looked like fishing rods stuck into the body of the vehicle. They were long, they were thin, and they were extremely annoying. These whip antennas were a nightmare of practicality. They could snap. When you drove into a low tunnel, they could create an irritating, wind-cutting whistle when the car moved at high speed on the highway. And if you accidentally forgot to retract the antenna before entering an automatic car wash, those giant brushes could turn it into a piece of scrap metal in an instant. It was technological obsolescence. But the biggest problem was not durability. A traditional whip antenna could almost do only one thing: receive AM/FM radio signals. Meanwhile, today's modern car demands much more. It needs GPS for navigation, mobile data, 4G and 5G for software updates, satellite radio, and even the eCall emergency rescue system. You cannot stick 14 fishing rods onto the roof of a car. And that is when the shark fin appeared as a rescue solution: clean, durable, and multifunctional. Inside, it is not one antenna. Many people think, it's just the old antenna bent over and covered in plastic. Completely wrong. The plastic shell you touch is actually an engineering component called a radome. It is like a high-tech raincoat. It must be strong enough to withstand harsh UV rays, hail, and dirt. But at the same time, it must be completely invisible to radio waves so it does not interfere with the signal. When this radome layer is removed, you would be amazed by what engineers have packed inside. A modern shark fin can contain up to 14 different types of antennas. According to the latest technical studies in 2024, car makers use multi-band techniques to arrange GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 5G antennas inside a space no larger than a hand without allowing them to interfere with one another. But the greatest secret lies here. This tiny fin does not operate alone. Engineers use an extremely clever physics trick. They turn the entire metal roof of the car into a ground plane, an electrical mirror plane. The roof reflects the signal. That helps double the effective size of the antenna inside. That is why the shark fin is always placed at the highest point of the roof, where it has the most direct view of the satellites and the largest metal mirror to amplify the waves. The superpower and the number 6%. Now let's return to the 6% fuel-saving claim. At high speed, the wind-slicing shark fin helps the car glide more smoothly. However, that saving comes from the entire aerodynamic design of the whole vehicle, not from the fin alone. So does it save 6% in fuel? The answer is, that number usually comes from the car's complete aerodynamic design, not from the fin alone. Do not expect to buy a fake fin. Stick it on and immediately watch fuel consumption drop. If your car's fin is damaged, replace it with the proper part. A cheap fin will not only receive signals poorly, it can also let water leak in, causing rust on the roof. And that can become a very expensive repair. The fin may only be a temporary stage. But here is an interesting truth. As cars become more modern, this fin may once again disappear. We are entering the era of 5G, connected cars, and fully autonomous vehicles. These technologies need more signal receiving and transmitting points than one single fin in the middle of the roof. The future trend is smart surfaces. These technologies need more signal receiving and transmitting points than one single fin in the middle of the roof. Instead of one transmitting and receiving station on the roof, the entire car will become a giant antenna network. The shark fin, therefore, is only one milestone in the history of development. So, the next time you look up at the roof of a car, do not just see a piece of plastic. See a quiet technical masterpiece, silently protecting electronic components and keeping you connected to the world. And here is the funny truth. We created it to make the car look more modern, but now we are trying to erase it so the car can look even more modern. What other strange detail on a car would you like us to break down? Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching Everyday Things Explained, and I'll see you in the next video.